Welcome to the Dune Over, episode 8. I am Dan. I am challenging myself to the weirding way. And by the weirding way, I mean drinking high alcohol content beer. We're joined by, as always, Jennifer. Comics will break your heart on YouTube. Comic books will break your heart on Instagram because sometimes you just can't get your name on every format.
I'm either going to change all of it to like comic books, or I'm just going to find the person who has comics and rob them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And we're joined by, from our favorite Siege to Bar, Sid, cartoon Sid. So I'm going to say this like real fast. This volume kind of dragged for me, our chapters. Like, there were a few where I'm just like, this is going a little slow.
Yeah.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Oh no, the end ones like really like got it going, but like that first chapter, I was just like, meh.
Is that the Gurney chapter?
Yes.
I actually agree with you there.
The disrespect from Mr. Halleck.
It's not really disrespect, like it just the pacing was slow in it, especially from what we just came from in the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, maybe it's because I've been in therapy since my last read. The daddy issues going on in this fucking book are off the charts.
Yeah.
The Duke issues.
Oh no, this was daddy issues. Like this wasn't even the Duke. This was like Leah Kynes.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Like,
which there was one thing that I did want to talk about that is like Dune related, but not Dune related. Oscar Isaacs
Moon Knight.
playing Moon Knight. I saw that.
Do
and
you know my joy?
Yeah.
Thank you. So many people have direct messaged me on every different platform today just to tell me that news, and I'm so proud to have cultivated the Oscar Isaac brand.
Were you just
and
like,
also the Mark
but he's not the
brand?
But he's not the Duke. But his hawk-like features will carry over.
I never considered Oscar Isaac. It was never even in my wheelhouse.
I never would have expected him to play it.
I never even knew that I could dare to hope for such a thing. But here we are, 2020.
And then hearing "I Believe I Can Fly" playing in the background.
What a time to be alive. Oh my God. He would do so well. Like, you know those, I'm sorry, I'm getting really off topic here, but
That's fine, that's our brand.
You brought up my man. In, what is it? Ex Machina, when he plays a crazy guy, what is Mark Spector but a crazy guy? Like,
also he can play unhinged like he did in, I hate to talk about this movie, but Sucker Punch.
I still haven't seen that.
Don't.
It's a great concept, but muddled by. Yeah. Oh, I hate the movie, but there is a concept that is kind of beautiful in there. Like it's shot beautifully, but there's rape in the beginning, the middle, the end.
Putting women in refrigerators.
Dylan, we are there for you.
Yeah.
Yes, we were talking Moon Knight.
Yeah. That was like the first thing that I wanted to say when I saw the news, and I'm sad that I didn't message you, but I'm glad that other people have. But yeah.
One of my good friends messaged me, and before he sent me the article, he was like, "All right, Sid, keep it together," and then sent me the update.
So my thing,
I did not.
The comic nerd me is like, I wonder what storyline they're doing, like mercenary Mark at the beginning, or are they just going straight fucking unhinged?
I think that they'll go unhinged.
Who's to say?
I mean, he does have like a broad like spectrum that he can play. We've also seen him play like Power Rangers villain as Apocalypse.
I think there's like a lot of really good runs that they could choose to base it off of, and like.
Give me the Werewolf by Night one.
Very few wrong choices, I think. I love Moon Knight. That's my favorite Marvel publication for sure.
I'm a fan, like when Warren Ellis and Declan Shalvey brought him back where he's wearing the suit. Like just the suit and tie.
Oh, the white suit? The like flat white suit that stands out against everything else in the comic? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, the aesthetic.
With Declan Shalvey's like really heavy-handed shading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's almost like noir, kind of.
Very much.
Yeah.
And then the, bird-headed Khonshu talking to him constantly.
Fucking with him.
Yes.
Constantly.
He's a vindictive god. So the Dune comic came out.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
So it converged all the House prequel books together. So it has House Carino, House Atreides, and House Harkonnen all muddled into it.
Okay. Have you guys read all those prequels?
No.
Because I haven't. I've never read a prequel.
They're not horrible, but they're not as... He doesn't have the deft hand of his father.
Brian Herbert, right?
Yes, with Kevin J. Anderson.
Mhm.
It's not horrible, but it's not great. It lacks the nuance.
I definitely, I tried to read it like in several different ways. Like I tried to read it as someone who has just read the three. And then I tried to read it as someone who has no clue any of it. And then someone who's maybe only watched the movie. And I felt like it's enjoyable if like the most enjoyable if you've maybe just watched the movie.
You can enter it not having read the books or knowing much and not really feel that lost.
But I think that there's
good.
also like there's little nuances for everyone. So there's the moment where Duke Atreides Senior is like gonna go fight a boar, and I'm like, oh, is this whenever he gets killed by the boar? And he doesn't.
No,
And
but
so,
the wife has some line. She's like, fucking pompous idiot.
yeah. So like there's little moments where if you know that that's going to happen, you're like, oh, okay. So I do think that there's a little bit of something in it for everyone. But
They kind of foreshadow his hubris when fighting it, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's
sure.
rad.
Because they go, that boar is running at him fast. He doesn't have to worry about his shield being penetrated.
Yep.
Oh, damn. I, for one, think that it's a really good thing when people are able to take an old story or like an old title and make it new in a way that makes it available to new readers, but is also fun for people who know the content. I think that's really difficult. Like I think when the first Hickman new X-Men things came out last year, when it was just like those first 10 issues
Yes,
of
the
each
Dawn
of them,
of X, Power of X.
yeah, I think that did a great job of that. For example, of like being great for people that know about the source material, and also being like you can literally just walk into that from zero
and made Moira
and be able to
McTaggart
enjoy it.
relevant. They made her like an awesome character.
Yeah.
Like that story with Destiny, she's like, I'm going to torture you when I kill you, just so you remember when you get reborn what I did to you. Like,
yeah.
How Harkonnen.
Ooh.
I had a coworker who was talking to me about comics, and he was like, I was really into comics, but what got me out was all of these reboots. Like that happens all the time in comics. And I'm like, okay, but let me raise you this. Like as much as it is frustrating, it's a really great way for new readers to get in. So like for someone who maybe watched the X-Men movies but has never actually read anything, like there's probably stuff that I'd recommend, like, some of the classic storylines that I'd recommend reading. But at the end of the day, if the Dawn of X or even the House of X, Powers of X, whatever, if you're getting into it now, like that's awesome.
Reboots gave us Fuckboy Cable.
100%. If anything, we get Fuckboy Cable out of it. So I'll be forever grateful.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, Sid. Like Fuckboy Cable is the book I didn't know I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm always here for a fuckboy.
Yeah.
They made him young, and he's like a little male himbo.
Oh, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I'm
all the
board.
Stepford Cuckoos, he's nailing.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma Frost like did this too, and she's like, I see you, motherfucker. Like they ended an issue with him like looking at her, and she goes,
oh, she knows too well.
Yes.
And then Magic at the end of the last issue was giving him the fuck me eye.
I made this game.
You only think you know the game. I created it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that accessibility that can be done with reboots is, to me, more valuable than any frustration that someone might have over it. I mean, of course, sometimes things just get fucked up, and you're like, who allowed this to happen? But the possibility for something to be good.
I will say, I'm looking forward to the HBO Max series that supposedly is happening. It's about the Bene Gesserit.
Is that happening?
I was like, wait, we're talking about Dune again?
But reboot. Well, before we get into the Dune of it,
Is it that
let me
time?
since we're talking about comics, so
Oh, I read
our
Scumbag.
oh
Sorry,
god,
totally just interrupted you.
our November pick by Jen for our book club is Sandman Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes. She was like, Neil Gaiman, come on if you want. Last one I did, the author came on. So we have that going on, and next week on election night, Tuesday at 7:00, I will be we will be interviewing Steve Orlando, Commanders in Crisis from Image Comics, and also the creator of the Midnight Thirst for Dick Grayson.
For which we are all grateful.
And he made Midnighter fun. Like, he enjoyed being Midnighter, and he was also like, yeah, I'm gay, and I'm a thirst trap. Let me get these dudes.
Yeah.
Hey, Grayson, nice ass.
Yeah. I mean, we were all thinking it.
I'll just be like, hey, Steve, go check out my friend's feed and Grayson. Just look at Cartoon Sid and Grayson ass and
yeah. So those are like the internet like
search terms.
Like stratosphere that I've cultivated for myself is now like Oscar Isaac in anything and just Dick Grayson's ass.
Yeah.
Which, you know, bury me with that shit.
Okay, so onto the Dune of things. Yes, they're talking about this Bene Gesserit series, which I can't even imagine what they would do with it. Would it be the founding of the Bene Gesserit and how they came to be?
You just want an Honored Matra series.
We'll get to that. We'll get there.
I think that ultimately, if they did, it's going to have to be very basic, and it's going to have to be very palatable for people, for people to be able to get into. Like, I don't think that they're going to go too obscure with it. I think that they're going to go like middle of the road, to be honest.
Like, I would take 4 seasons of God Emperor, where each season was 1,000 years till it got to the movie.
That'd be pretty interesting. I don't even
end each season with a Duncan getting squished.
Oh.
Oh,
you had to.
I did.
I don't even have like an image in my mind of like what a Bene Gesserit series would be.
I don't know either, except maybe an introduction to them, like what they're about.
I think it would end up being almost like what I imagine the new Black Widow movie is going to be, where they show like training and where they show maybe like a montage of like people growing up in it.
The breeding program, maybe. So like Jessica coming up in it.
Like an intro or like an origin.
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay.
Or Chapter House.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Chapter House might be pretty hard for a lot of people to palate just because of
there's a lot to unpack.
Fucking lore. Yeah, like, you know, the thousands of years of lore that birthed that.
When is the HBO series supposed to come out? Is there a date for that?
Well, it was supposed to come out after the movie, so like who the fuck knows now?
Because I think it would be really interesting if they did both of them at the same time. If you know that series ended up coming out later next year, then we got the movie. I think it would be fun to see them both happen at the same time.
Just give me all the Reverend Mother of it. Like, I would just listen to her talk. Like, are you an animal or are you human?
Mm-hmm.
Would they be related? Like the movie and the series?
It sounded like they were going to kind of tie them together.
Okay.
But
that would be really cool. I mean, I hope they would be.
I would hope so too, or at least like show like what they do behind the scenes, like just total Game of Thrones it with the political intrigue of what the fuck they're up to.
Mm-hmm. Or like what they've done with The Mandalorian, where it's like outside of the core canon but fits within it.
I think it would be, if like with a movie, if they end up not showing a lot of because it's going to be split into 2 things. So it'd be interesting to see like how much more supplemental, like I think it'll be supplemental to the movie, but not necessarily like you need to watch the movie in order to watch the show or vice versa. Um,
I have a question. Are we gonna see that fucking? Are we gonna see that bull fucking head during the movie?
I hope so.
God, I hope so. Yeah.
Especially since they have this tie-in comic coming out that's showing the bull. I'm like, I started thinking, I was like, maybe it's going to be in the movie. Maybe that's why they have to explain why this fucking bullhead's important.
It's all about the bull. Little do you know.
I think
You
that
got Timothée Chalamet. No. It's just a bull.
I think that they'll do a good job of putting that in the background as an Easter egg. So like people like us who like just freshly read it know what it is, but maybe regular people, and I mean that in an affectionate way, regular people who don't obsess over those things, like
who don't have this affliction.
Yes, this terrible infection with terrible purpose. Hey, buddy.
Infection of terrible nerdom. Fandom.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's get into these chapters.
Yeah. Cool.
In case people did come here to actually listen to us talk about the book.
Hard to believe, but sure.
So we start with the Gurney chapter.
We start with Gurney, which I quite liked.
This chapter ended, though, beautifully.
Right?
That I will give it, but like the back and forth between him and the smuggler's son, who just died in the last couple of chapters we read, it kind of was like well, what do you want? Revenge, or do you want to join us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're both seeking revenge in a way, so they want, they want to use each other. The
smuggler's like, you can get asylum with us and be safe, or you can go join the Fremen and be hunted. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of a mirror to when we saw Thafir dealing with the Fremen. And this guy's not even a Fremen, he's a smuggler, but it's just like that, like...
It's a hard edge.
Yeah, it's like that gap in communication, between like the Duke's men and anyone else in the world. But I thought it was quite good. I mean...
There was a line in here I liked. I'll give you my father's answer to those who act without thinking. A stone is heavy and the sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both.
Yep, that was the line that stood out to me too. That was good.
I really dug that line.
There was something else I think that was in that chapter that I quite liked the sound of, like philosophically, but I can't remember it now, and I have the ebook, so I'll never find it. But I liked just Gurney's kind of like almost unchecked rage when he finds out that the
beast is coming.
The beast, thank you. The beast are born. And like it's almost like I pictured that kind of anime like hair ruffle, like
the aura.
Yeah.
This was another line I liked. Whether a thought is spoken or not, it is a real thing and it has power. You might find the line between life and death among the Fremen to be too sharp and quick.
Yeah, this guy is good with the quips.
Oh yeah, he's got analogies to no end.
Yeah, which
felt
Gurney
like
probably appreciates.
That's what I was thinking. Like with Gurney being that like lyricist and warrior, bard, troubadour.
You said it, bard.
I know, but he's more of a
troubadour
warrior. Yeah.
With his balisette.
I was surprised that we didn't get more lyricism from Gurney. Like I imagined that the conversation between the two of them could have been more of like a lyrical back and forth, or like a rappers war. Like I don't know. I imagine that could have happened, but
maybe I like
Gurney was a little more subdued.
I feel like that's a good point to make. There you are. And I think that kind of not hints to, but reveals how Gurney's kind of at his wit's end right now, right? Like he just escaped this horrible siege on like his entire house. He has 74 men, and then dies over the course of the chapter, and he's just like managed to keep them alive, like this small group of men, and get them here. And now he's just like
dying. Like that was the best, because they're like he's requesting a song.
Yeah, and I thought it was so nice that Gurney wasn't even the one that sang it. It was the other guy that sang it. He was just like, play for us. And then he started singing it.
And then the bandaged arm falls and he goes, and now we were 73.
73.
Poetic cinema.
But now that I think, there are a lot of lines in here in the back and forth that were like keepers. Like,
Yeah, it's a good chapter, I thought.
because Tuick's like,
Oh, fuck.
we live on sufferance down here, Gurney Halleck. Arrakis is our enemy. One enemy at a time. Is that it? That's it. Is that the Fremen? Is that the way the Fremen make out? Perhaps. Like there's a lot of back and forth, and it's kind of like that verbal jousting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so now we know that. So the Duke's men, right? Duncan, dead as far as we know. Thafir, not only captured by the Harkonnens, but is being fed the lie that he believes that Jessica is the traitor and that Paul is dead. Gurney now has been told that the Harkonnens believe that Paul and Jessica are dead, and they had that sassy little quip that it's like, I believe them in this, but in nothing else. So that's where we are with, the warriors. They all think Paul's dead, or other degrees of falsity.
Like, oh boy, this next chapter starts with the longest fucking line from.
Oh my God, you're a bitch. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell her to
Like,
fucking chill.
It's an entire page of it.
It
Like,
truly
Yes.
is. Like, we're trying
it
to
is
read
a
a
whole page.
book. Could you please not insert a book into our book, Irulan?
mm-hmm.
All she has is her books.
Take a fucking breather.
But like, literally, I'm just like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, I can't have this paramour because she's too fucking pretty. Get her out. Like,
Oh, that
honestly,
one. I did think that was quite interesting, though.
yeah, because he's like, well, clearly she's out to kill me if she's too pretty.
She's like, we all spied on my father. It was just a matter of survival in the royal
yeah,
house.
like, crazy.
I honestly felt like that intro to the chapter was worthless. Like, I don't feel like, seriously, when I'm like, what was that about? Was my reaction, and I read it, I think, like 2 or 3 times to really understand what was going on, and I'm like, to me, it didn't really tell us anything about the character. It didn't tell us anything
Okay.
about Daddy. I don't know.
Count Fenring, the
I mean,
genetic eunuch. Like,
So later, when Count Finreg becomes part of this story, I think he's actually a pretty interesting character.
just her description of him, I'm like, it's a
Yeah.
interesting description to like pop on somebody. The genetic eunuch, the deadliest fighter of the Imperium.
Like, I don't consider myself a genetic eunuch. I thought of myself as the left-handed eunuch.
It's just like kind of like the end of Game of Thrones, where like we declare the king Brandon the Broken. It's like, hey, asshole.
Exactly.
Listen, I fell out of a
Any
fucking
other
window.
descriptor? Anything else?
Like, just call me anything. Don't call me broken. Like, seriously. Like,
Yeah.
just ooh. He'd
But
be
I mean,
canceled right now.
I guess it's more world building, huh? It's just like another notch in the lore bedpost. And I did think it was interesting.
This girl is too beautiful. We'll save her as a gift. I'm just like, what the fuck?
And that that rocked the boat. The fact that he didn't, go to town on this pretty young woman. They were like, oh shit, he has self-control.
The most deadly threat to all of us.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes. Paul is still kind of a little aloof. This chapter is basically them traveling out into the sand and using the thumper.
Using the thumper. Barely surviving. Oh, and this must be the scene from the trailer.
Yes. Where they're running
worm with its gaping mouth. Yeah.
Stinking of melange and acid leaking out of it. And a bunch of Chris knife teeth.
Yeah, to which I say that scene from the trailer, pretty spot on, after having just read the chapter.
Also, I want to hear the sound engineering of the difference with the drum sand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom, boom.
Because I can see like Denny Villeneuve going, no, I need to hear drum.
I'm really excited about the worm sounds, the tunneling, the grating.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of the like where they're going to end the first movie and have the next movie start, like in my brain, I imagined that this scene or that scene is going to be the halfway point. Like that's going to be the end of the first movie. or very shortly after. So I really feel like these chapters that we read, like this is going to be the first movie.
Pretty
Yeah.
close, yeah.
Yeah.
Paul teaching her how to walk without rhythm.
Yeah. I mean, Paul trying, right? From
Yeah.
like his prescient memories, which is adorable. He's like, I kind of know this somehow.
Step
Let me
drag.
try to teach you. And yeah, okay, so they escaped the worm, they saw it, and they smelled the spice, and
Yeah.
they're again questioning what the connection is. And that's something that we got a lot of in the Liet Kynes chapter too.
And then hearing the thumper.
Yeah, yeah. And I did think it was quite interesting that Jessica was like, why would they help us? And he was like, maybe they're not helping us. Maybe they're calling a worm. And she's like, why would they call a worm? And he's like, I don't know.
Why do I have
Like
these
it's
poles?
there. It's there, but I don't know exactly.
The Frempack, he's like, why do I have these poles? Are we meant to ride
I have
them?
these maker hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really getting into some spicy tidbits here.
Yes, and like he's like, this is a smaller worm than the one that ate our thopter, but it's still pretty big.
Still pretty fucking big, yeah.
Yes. And like I just imagine IMAX just the look of it as it's charging towards that cave where they're at and it can't get to them. I'm excited.
And then like when it like looks around, right? It's like,
yeah.
Oh man. I'm excited.
They talk about its renewed frenzy and like they're in the narrow crack. Thought there was a line in here that I thought oh, that's when the Fremen show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most intruders here regret finding the Fremen. Please do not run, intruders. If you run, you'll only waste your body's water. They want us for water.
Mm-hmm.
I have many things to say about the Lady Jessica supremacy, but I suppose that can wait until we discuss the Liet Kynes chapter. So that chapter ends with the Fremen finding them.
Yes.
And threatening them a little bit.
So Liet Kynes chapter, this is where I was talking about there's some daddy issues where he's just hearing his dad talk to him.
Yeah. I love that trope though. Like I love that literary trope of someone dying or even just being in like a stressful situation and their mentor comes to them and gives them a talking to. Like in Preacher, John Wayne, you know, like the typical like crazy person.
Pre-Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I eat it up. I liked it.
John Wayne was funny when at least Jesse was in the casket underwater.
Mm-hmm.
He was always right, is what he was.
That's true.
I feel like this will be a good if they do include this in the movie, which this could possibly be one of those chapters that they leave out and we still really enjoy the movie. But I feel like this would be a really good beginning of the second part of the movie. Or the beginning part of movie number 2.
I'm not gonna lie, I like want to see what the spice blow looks like.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe this will be, and so the reason that I'm not sure about this timeline where the first movie is going to end is because we have that image in the trailer of Duncan like getting down on his knees and recognizing Paul as the Duke, which this is jumping ahead a bit, but we know that that's Gurney in this book, and that hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to like complain now. They introduced one of my least favorite fucking characters in the chapters we read.
Is it Jamis?
I fucking cannot. And
he's not around for long, man.
No, but Paul. Well, kind of like how like you get bothered by like Irulan, Jamis, and especially the speech Paul makes about Jamis later, like aggravates me to no end.
That's fair.
Because it's so fucking emo. Like it's oh god. Like
let's just not to defend a straight white male, but he is 15.
No. Like it's just like so over the top. And then Irulan puts him in the fucking book with like the hymn of Jamis. I'm like, what the fuck? Like he's like barely in this book.
He's part of the story. He's part of Muad'Dib becoming Muad'Dib. We're jumping ahead, but
Yeah.
it's a stepping stone.
So basically, the Harkonnens drop Liet Kynes with no still suit out in the middle of the fucking desert.
Yeah.
And he's just like, boy, there's a lot of birds circling. Surely they're gonna find me. Oh no.
Oh no.
I feel things underneath me moving, and then starts explaining what creates a spice blow.
Yeah. And they talk about the little makers that are like not quite plants, not quite animals.
The plant part is what caught me. The plant part caught me by surprise because I was like, oh, that's interesting that they're part plant.
Yeah.
I didn't really figure that in.
Yeah, they're weird fucking little thing. And doesn't he calls them sand trout, right?
Yes.
Plato the Second?
Yes.
Those are the same things, right?
Yeah. They're the things that merged with his body. Spoilers.
Yeah. He makes his little fucking super suit.
Yes. Yeah.
Neither here nor there.
His super still suit.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it Still 01. Get in the suit. Get in the golden path, Gingy.
I did think when I was reading that chapter that, like, I hope that we do get quite a good bit of Liet Kynes because the character's being played by a woman. Like,
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Like, I don't know. I thought all of this weird sort of like introspective, like the character speaking to their dead father about this ecological stuff. I was like, I'm down to see this feminized.
100%, because I think that that's something that we don't get to see a lot. And to your point, where this is kind of one of those tropes where someone's having they need to have their mentor come to them. Mm-hmm. Do you think that if we do end up getting to see this in the movie, do you think that the parent, do you think that they'll like have Dr. Liet Kynes talking to her mother in the movie? Or do you think
be pretty rad.
Father?
And I feel like it would be a father probably, so like they won't go too far.
I feel like either one could work.
What if it's both the parents?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I also, maybe I'm skipping ahead too much because Chani is Liet Kynes' daughter.
With a lilt and a almost laughing tone.
So I'm curious how they will play that.
Yeah, so I guess it must be, to a Fremen husband instead of to a Fremen wife.
A wild man. Since they said that he married a wild woman, I guess it's a wild man. Yeah.
Or if maybe, I don't know, if Liet Kynes could use
surrogate and have a...
Yeah, or maybe do like a test tube baby. Like if Chani could be like a test tube baby.
Or it could even be one of those similar situations to how, Paul acquires those kids pretty fucking soon. Accidental child acquisition is part of Fremen culture, apparently.
Chani's parents were killed and all they left were little sand pearls.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're jumping ahead.
Fremen Batman.
Really only by the next show, but
yeah.
Jamis's wife and kids do become Paul's through their rights.
Mm-hmm.
Same could happen to Chani and Liet, possibly.
Yeah.
It would be rad if there was ultimate representation,
I knew who they were. Representation for representation's sake, but really,
yeah.
I don't know. Just
I knew who they were talking about as soon as they said wisps of sandy hair with a sparse beard and thick brows. I was like, oh, they're talking about Liet because that's the way they described him earlier.
Our dirty desert man.
Yes. So yeah, his dad and him they have a full Obi-Wan conversation. Except he's not saying there's another one. He's just going. The plan, and he goes, I know, I've heard your lectures, stop, just leave me alone.
Yeah, he's like, why is he not helping me? He's just fucking lecturing me.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's good information.
Yes, there was like a lot of information about the planet and like what the
about
dream
planet,
is, how they were going to do it.
about the goals, how they're trying to accomplish it. And I do think that it's nice how we kind of learn all of these things with his death. So it's like all of these big plans and plans that you were actively pursuing.
Also, like the hawk, did you think that was like kind of like a weird like representation where he thought the Atreides hawk was going to help him?
I didn't, but now that you say that, he did kind of just let it hang there, and he was like, all right, I'll accept.
And this chapter had the quote of all quotes that I loved more than anything else, and it stuck to me more than anything. No more terrible disaster could befall your people than for them to fall into the hands of a hero.
Right, and then what does he say immediately after that? He's like, don't worry, we'll protect the son of the Duke.
Yep.
Literally. Especially like when one of the themes of the book is don't trust charismatic leaders, and then
I actually help it. It's that Atreides charm, baby.
Yeah.
The Quinn's ideas, and he had interviews with Frank Herbert at the beginning of one of his videos, and one of them was Frank Herbert talking about charismatic leaders and how President Kennedy was one of like the biggest villainous people, and that it took Richard Nixon for people to stop believing in the president. So in his eyes, Richard Nixon was more of a hero.
Okay, I'm going to read this completely different now.
Deconstructing the hero president.
So then that makes Leto the second.
Richard Nixon? Yeah.
The hero. The Richard Nixon, the hero of this situation, yeah.
Well, Paul kind of becomes his own Richard Nixon to a degree.
Paul just becomes a cryptid.
Yeah.
He just becomes a desert creature that you hear rumors about.
Yeah, I just imagine like Bigfoot.
No, straight up. Like, and he's got those fucking melted eyeballs, dude. Yeah. Like, what a monster.
As this is going on,
I'm a freak.
Kynes has his last thoughts as he's dying. Then as this planet killed him, it occurred to Kynes that his father and all the other scientists were wrong, that the most persistent principles of the universe were accident and error. Even the Hawks could appreciate these facts.
Yeah, see? It's a great ending to a character, I thought.
It was, and then him describing as it blows up, he's like, oh, it's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, and the way they said it, it was like, as his planet killed him, or something like that.
Yeah, like,
I quite liked.
He had this strange moment of peace as he passed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, would that be more of, like, the big lead energy? Because he was kind of, like, the whole time just, like, always very mellow about things.
Oh, for sure. That's on brand for him, yeah.
And also, in these chapters, they talk more about office furniture.
No, they do not.
Oh, yeah. In Tuyk's chapter, they talk about the desk and stuff. I'm just like, Frank Herbert.
Oh, my God, they did, didn't they? And the chair came out of the wall, didn't
it?
Yes. That's like the book that I think that we really are missing, like Princess Irulan's Guide to Interior Decorating.
It's her like curated Office Depot catalog.
I had one of my friends go, because I posted that clip of us talking about it. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you focusing on filing cabinets? Like, do you know how fucking weird it is to have a futuristic desert planet with filing cabinets?
You like, at least make a sandstone.
No.
Oh,
yes,
God. Man, I was really trying, because now I have like my office furniture lenses on, thanks to you, Jen. But I missed that somehow.
I was like, they're talking about this fucking desk and chair for like way too long. Like
they were talking about the office furniture.
I understand. Like I can just see him typing on. I really need a new chair. Shit.
I wish I had one that folded out of the wall so that a weary fighting man may fold himself into it.
Like, it's so weird. And of course, like, we're noticing it now because that's just the people we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when you get
here,
with
terrible purpose.
When you get here, I'll
Filing
make sure I have a chair that folds out of the wall in the room for you. So you just be like, I am so weary. Oh, there's a folding chair.
So Jen's terrible purpose is filing cabinets. Yours is folding chairs. Mine must be revealed in the next chapters, I hope.
I feel like yours is going to be desks.
Desks?
Although the last one, they talked about that fucking table. They were like, it had many blown...
Yeah, it had like a milk top.
Yeah,
right?
It was like Milkstone or something like that. It was like so described in like every way. I'm like, all right, Frank Herbert, I get it. You like fucking furniture. Like,
I'm not into a milk top for anything. No.
Like, it makes me think of It's Always Sunny, like milk steak.
Ew.
The bubbles blown into it is like the weird thing. It was just like,
ew.
So Brian Herbert, do you have a furniture fetish? Do we know?
No kink shaming.
It's
no,
just
not on this show. No.
The fact that we're like noticing the
Office
furniture
shaming is acceptable.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm thinking now about Siege Tabor. The things I know.
He was just like, there's going to be a superstore for office stuff coming soon. I know this. We're going to call it cabinets. No, it's staples. Damn it. Okay, so the next chapter, we're back to Paul with the...
I believe you think we are back to Lady Jessica because she's the one who gets the shit done for these 2 chapters at the very least.
She beats the shit out of Stilgar so much he falls in love.
Shit out of him, yeah.
He falls in love from getting his ass whipped.
Hey.
Like, he was ready to kill her and just be like, okay, like, your waters to the tribe. And after that, she proved herself useful, apparently.
And then he's like, I want to take you as a wife.
His screaming noises just, like, filled me with an internal joy that I can't express in words. He's like, aye, get off me, woman! You know? Oh.
Interesting Irulan.
The soul.
Irulan excerpt talking about Paul's prescience. Prophecy and prescience, how can they be put to the test in the face of the unanswered question? Consider how much is actual prediction of the waveform, as Muad'Dib referred to his vision image.
See, this is nonsense to me.
And how much is the prophet shaping the future to fit the prophecy? That was the line I thought was interesting.
I think she's just saying words at this point.
She's
much of the harmonics inherent in the act of prophecy. What the fuck does that mean, Irulan?
Sometimes you got to fill a word count for your book.
Just saying words.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's getting paid by the word this time.
There's the truth of it.
I really liked in this chapter how it goes into the Fremen language.
Yes.
The hunting language.
Yeah. Because it's like Lady Jessica kind of knows the language but doesn't, so she's having to... I feel like a lot of her style is just making it up as she goes along. Like she knows about a lot of things, but she doesn't know how to do it. Like she has this armchair knowledge of how everything works, but then it's like when it comes down to doing it, she doesn't know how to do it yet. So... I don't know, her like picking up little bits and pieces of the hunting language. I thought that Trabansky is that.
It might be because I was half asleep, but like in my head, I had this weird crossover of Star Trek with Dune and having the Fremen and the Klingon matchup.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't know why I knew you were going to say that.
It's the language.
Talk about Klingons, yeah.
It sounds like the harsh language of the Klingons.
Probably because it is harsh for sure, and they call it a hunting language, and like Klingons a warrior race, so there's a connection there.
I mean, would the hunting language kind of be like Japanese, where they don't have like the emotional like words in the language?
No, I feel like it would be more like, what can I compare it to? I don't know, like Klingon?
Especially with like their harsh, like everything is like about battle and blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything's like directional, right? Like
yeah. And I was
like the pronunciations are a little bit harsher.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Captain Kirk meets Muad'Dib. Muad'Dib, you
But yeah, so they decide that they will keep Paul because he's young enough that he can be trained. And Liette had forewarned them that these people may be useful to them.
And Liette is the only one that all the tribes all the Sieges seem to respect.
For sure. Although I think,
or at least he talks to all of them.
Yeah, he's, you have like the Sage leaders like Stilgar, and I feel like all of those people are on equal footing and would receive respect in other sages. But then there's Liette, who like even those people have that level of respect for.
Yeah, because Stilgar makes that comment of like everybody talks to Liette, but not really to me.
Yeah. But so they decided they would keep Paul because he could yet be useful because he's a
get
child.
Rid of Jessica because
he's like a man. Yeah, but they were just going to dump Jessica because they're like, no offense, it's a water choice. You know how it is.
They're mansplaining to her. They're like literally like, listen, your boy can be something, but like you're just a woman.
You're just a woman.
And they do make a point where they're like, even one untrained person in a siege can ruin the entire siege. So just by allowing this like one person in, even though he's a kid.
And we get into Jamis a little bit that he won't shut the fuck up even when Stilgar keeps telling him to shut the fuck up.
He's a little argumentative, a little too pugnacious.
We meet Chani.
Yes, but prior to that, Jessica absolutely whoops ass.
And Paul and Jamis have their first showdown where he basically chops him in the chest and knocks him down.
And Paul fucks him up. Yeah, and then later Jessica has to be like, you need to tend to your guy because my son was a little rough with him.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like, hey, you're not all that. Like, you're
go
okay.
Check out your boy. Yeah.
Step your game up.
My favorite thing about this is how Stilgar was yelling for her to let him go for like a hot minute, for a while.
And then he's like,
he was like,
guys,
I have these demands.
Guys, stop hunting. Knock it the fuck out.
He's like, fucking stop. She's about to fucking kill me. Like, don't make me say it again.
And she's doing the demands, and then like Chani sneaks up on Paul, and he's like, oh shit, your little elfin face. I've seen it before. And he starts like getting flushed. Yeah.
It's precious.
Jessica's Bene Gesserit ass is like, oh, Paul.
What a fucking nerd. Yeah. Stilgar's insults are beyond compare.
What did he say?
He calls her a lizard turd.
Yeah.
He calls her
like a sand-headed or something. I think
he has one like line-long insult.
You light-headed something like.
Oh my god, it is so good.
But he kind of like impresses Jessica. She's like, this is a leader. Like,
oh yeah, she's like, I misjudged you.
But he's also trying to fuck her too. Like, I'm sorry, but like, she's like, oh, he's looking for a wife. And he's like, the men won't understand. Like, I can't treat you differently. If I stay here talking to you too long, I gotta let them put some respect on my name.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm really trying to find this insult because it's really important.
There is one, and this one's at the end of the line, or at the end of the that chapter, is where Jessica has this internal thought about how they're an entire culture. The line is an entire culture trained to military order. And I think she even mentions like even Chani, like even a woman gets this. And I'm like, bitch, you literally have military training. Like, why? I was surprised by her surprisedness that like, oh, they even let women in here.
Yeah, well, I guess from her background of like the great houses, obviously she's surrounded by people of military training, but it's like the fighting men.
Get back, you worm-headed lice. She'll break my neck if you come near.
That's not it, though. There's another one that's better. I'm trying to find it.
It all had to do with worm and lizards, like all of it.
Oh, here it is. Do as she says, you worm-faced, crawling, sand-brained piece of lizard turd. Do it or I'll help her dismember you. That's good shit.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Frank. For that.
Yeah.
I just see him going, I'm fucking doing awesome. Like, listen to these insults.
Do you think he
No,
ever
but he's actually fearing for his life. Go on.
Do you think that Frank ever said any of these things to Brian or Kevin?
It's
Just
in the
like
notes.
trying him out.
Yeah.
Listen, you lizard-faced piece of
Getting a feel
furniture.
for it.
Dad, stop mentioning furniture. You don't tell me what to do.
God.
God.
I'm telling you, chairs and walls are coming. It's a thing.
So yes, office furniture aside, Jessica not only whooped the ass of the leader of this entire Fremen community, but she then used like her ability to just like, what's that called?
Not prescience, but
No, like doing it on the fly, spitballing.
oh, improv.
Improv, thank you. Jesus Christ. Her ability to fucking improv with like her knowledge of the missionary Protectiva and like her knowledge of Chakobza and like, you know, her basic knowledge of like the religion that may or may not be planted here.
Oh,
So
she makes Stilgar's eyes like open up when she
Yeah.
starts reciting that shit. He's like,
she physically humiliated him and then like spiritually earned his
respect.
allegiance. Yeah, respect. She played him like a clarinet, man. Like, Lady Jessica, this is what I was talking about earlier when, like, they don't really show you, like, this specific prowess of Lady Jessica until we get here, you know? And, like, everybody's life is on the line. And nothing's certain, and she just, like, secures this place, and then even as she's doing this, and, like, Stilgar's agreeing to bring them both back and saying, like, maybe you're the Reverend Mother, maybe he's the Lisan Al Gaib, I don't know. She's like, well, regardless, like, I'll get Paul into a good place. Like, she's not even concerned with herself, really, at this point. Somewhat with her child. Unborn.
There was a couple of moments in this where she keeps mentioning, like, he's passed the test. Like, he's passed the test. He's done the Gom Jabbar.
Mhm.
Like, several times. And I'm just like, do they really even know what the Gom Jabbar is? Like, are you just saying crazy words to them? Like, you know a little bit of Chakobza. Is this part of the Missionaria Protectiva? Like, do they get that? But they do, apparently.
Chani sasses Paul too. She's like, "You were as noisy as Shai-Hulud in a rage."
Yeah. And he's like, I'm in love.
She moved like a gazelle dancing over the rocks. Paul felt hot blood in his face, was thankful for the darkness.
This stinky desert woman can hop down these rocks.
She can climb like an elfin woman.
Oh, I got the vapors.
In his head, he would. My needle drop moment would then be playing Typo Nega's Christian Woman as she's going up climbing up.
But Paul's like, I do love to see Paul stumble a bit with this whole situation.
Because he's literally like always like one step ahead or like perfect or close.
I mean,
but
that's
how it's been... of a woman coming up to him, he's like,
yeah. So for a few chapters, we've seen Jessica being like afraid of like this power of his and kind of following along with him. And then I think it was the last stream that we had. Finally, Jessica was like, "You fucked up today, little one. Let's do some hand training.
I'm gonna get you some training." Like grabs him by the ear.
In the tent.
They got the kerchief of the baka.
Oh yeah.
Signifies that they're teach.
Yeah, it's nice. They match.
And I also like my son has what weapons he needs. He doesn't need the one he took from your man. And Stilgar glanced at the man, Paul subdued. Jamis, the man stood at one side, head lowered, breathing heavily. "You're a difficult woman," Stilgar said.
We love to see it.
Kushti Bakate. Which, that's why I was like Klingon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like how she was like, notice how my son did not listen to you when you told him to come down.
And he stood still.
Then she's like, come down now, sweetie. Yes, Mom.
This was like Stilgar's like, hey girl moment with, there's much we don't know about each other. But we tarry over long day, sun mustn't find us in the opening. And I was just like, all right, Stilgar, like you're dropping your lines. Like, I get what you're doing. But
Okay, Gurney.
also I like we'll give you a name, Manling, when we decide
I was about
to.
to bring that up. I was like, I liked Paul's little tiny moment of trying to like stick his dukedom in there, like, my name is Paul, and they're like, we'll give you a name.
You'll get a name.
Yeah, it was like, my name is Paul. It were well you, and he's going, no.
Interrupted.
I'm the siege leader. You shut the fuck up, little mouse. Yeah, I'm calling that yet.
Yeah, not yet.
And
then Jessica mentions that it's like it because it's not just these people; it's like the entire culture, right? The entire population is trained to this like military precision and military order, and that's just how they operate life, you know?
Yeah, because he's like, there's 40 of us in this little group, which she didn't even know the number. She couldn't figure out.
Any of them were there.
Yeah.
What?
And like her usual senses, she can figure out. Like she can only figure out 4 of them there, not that there were fucking 40.
Mm-hmm.
And the next chapter was them moving to the siege or getting to the siege.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of like back and forth, and of course, like Chani, like, come on, like you do everything hard way, like let's move this. And there's more of Stilgar and Jessica where he's just like, hey girl, I like you, I want you, but I need to be respected.
Yeah, but he also like recognized, and I think this is one of the things that made Jessica realize like his prowess as a leader is like he obviously recognized her like value as a woman, both like to him potentially, but more so like to the sage, right? Like you could be a reverend mother if
And
you say the right things.
We also get the illusion of where she thinks she's having Mirage seeing someone riding a fucking worm.
Oh my god. He's like, yeah, it would be better if we ride, but we can't let a worm in here. And she's like, you what, mate?
Yeah, like literally. And she goes, that wasn't a Mirage. Someone was riding a fucking worm.
Like, no, but she doesn't even consider it. She's like, that was a weird Mirage. Anyway, what were you saying? Like
maker, word for worm.
Yeah.
Also, like, here we go. No offense, women among us are not taken against their will, and with you, even that convention isn't required. Like,
don't worry about it.
And she's like, "You keep in mind that I was the Duke's lady." He's like, "Yeah, as you wish." Like,
oh, I do have to say, I love how she keeps harping on that. I hope she rides that train until the day she dies. Like, don't forget I was a Duke's woman for the rest of her life.
And she's like, I do have this baby inside me, and like I really, that was my own want to have a child, my own natural desires.
He's keeping that secret still, friend.
Yes. Which made me wonder, like, how with the still suit and everything, does it like handle like pregnancy? Because already like the water I started going to that.
I mean, the only reason that she even knows she's pregnant is because she's Bene Gesserit, and she's that aware of like the internal chemical functions of her body that she probably knew the moment it happened. She was like, a sperm just entered my fertile egg.
Huh.
She's like, she heard what she heard in Stilgar's voice, the unspoken offer of more than his countenance. Stilgar is like alpha male and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of a spoiler, like he respects the fuck out of her so much, like he followed her off planet in Children of Dune. I think he came back with her. If I recall. I might be wrong, but I remember like every time she was around, all of a sudden he was like, hey, hi, my lady.
True love.
He also has like a wicked temper. Like, if you fucking try him in the minute, he will cleanse that knife. And also them talking about how they have to hide their weapons when they walk around the common people in the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And how someone like her could just walk among them because she is a weapon.
Yeah, it's a weapon that doesn't need hiding. But then Paul notices, like, even though they're dressed exactly the same, he's like, God, my mom stands out so much. Like,
Yes, the way she walks
so
away.
haughty, like
Mm-hmm.
a duke's woman. Get it, girl.
She also has her own moment of a daughter born here to a woman wed to such a one as this man. What would the fate of such a daughter? She asked herself. Would he try to limit the necessities that a Bene Gesserit must follow?
See, she's always thinking ahead.
And the Sayadina, the Reverend Mother of the Fremen.
Yeah, when I read that for a moment, I was confused because you know the nickname that Paul gives Chani, Sahaya, I think it is.
Yeah.
I was like, was that? And then I came to my senses and realized they were different things.
And as we get more into Chani, she is like just sass, like 100%. Like she gives no fucks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially later on in the series, which at the rate we're going, we'll get there.
Oh, she was going to murder Irulan. Paul had to like bodily like pull like no.
Jennifer and I were on the show the other day. We're like, how far are we going? Is it going to be Children of Dune and stop, or are we going to do God Emperor?
Is the movie ever going to come out? Like, the US is so fucked, dude. I was not aware of how fucked it was here in my little Southeast Asian paradise where we don't have COVID anymore.
What's weird is they just opened the movie theater back up, and I'm like, do I go? Because I kind of want to see Tenet, but like at the same time, I don't want to sit in an auditorium. Like for Dune, I would. Like I would be like mask, respirator. I'd bring my own bubble. Like I would just be like in there going, give me that maker. Give me a still suit.
Mm-hmm.
AMC's doing where you can like rent a theater for $99. Like 100%, I would go ahead and do that for just me.
Are you kidding? For $99?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Sid, her partner got mad because of he didn't enjoy that I sent her weapons.
No, he loved it. He just thought it was funny. Like, so did you were you there? Did you watch the video? Did I see? I can't remember if I saw your name pop up. But anyways, after the video,
for some reason. So I didn't get to see it.
The first thing that he said was, did he get you a weapon, or why did he get you a weapon? So,
yeah, no, I tuned into the stream you guys did. I think maybe Friday it was. When you were talking about it. Yeah, I mean, that thought didn't cross my mind at all. He was like, guess what I got Jen? And I was like, what? And he told me, and I was like, oh. I hope she does an unboxing.
Yes. So now I have to get a sheath for it, and I
was waiting for the pictures of you with the Gom Jabbar.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine the possibilities.
Yeah.
Are you? Everybody comes in your house. Are you human?
Are you human?
Are you going to tear your limb off to get away out of a trap?
This blade's been unsheathed, so you know what I have to do.
I laughed on the live stream when you said, Jen, I'll nominate myself to be cleansed.
Yeah, I mean, she's got to use that blade.
I do.
A volunteer's tribute.
The slow blade penetration.
The slow blade, man.
Give me that slow blade.
She broke
Penetrating all
Gambit
the
yesterday
shields.
during the stream. She started talking about Batman Year 18, and Gambit just started like face palming. He's like, I have to draw this now.
Yeah.
Like fake movie posters of Batman Year 69.
Mm-hmm. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Batman and assless chaps.
It's a good idea, yeah.
And then, Batman Year 69 can be like Alfred can join, and there can be some lemon parties.
Sure.
Possibilities are endless here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
this is what happened to my mom. Oh!
No. That's
pearl
not
necklace. Pearl necklaces.
In my
Jesus.
series, Batman's actually going to go to therapy.
He's going to be talking it out.
That's a hot take.
Wasn't that the Tom King run?
Hardly.
It might as well have been. Oh,
It's neither
Selena,
here nor there. We're
let me
not going
talk
to
to
go
you
down
while
the
I'm doing
talking road.
push-up. Anyway, yes. Paul's constantly in therapy during this because everybody has daddy issues, except for Jessica. She doesn't know her daddy, so she doesn't have daddy issues. Well, maybe she does. She doesn't really talk about her daddy.
Oh, she knows now.
Well, now, but even then, she's just like, I'm not even gonna like think about it.
She's like, yeah, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Because at the end of the day, like, does it really have anything to do with her? Like, that was all chosen by someone else, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just linguistic, right? Like, they talk about the hate of the Harkonnens, but it's like you don't really hate the Harkonnens, like, as a bloodline. You just hate this one individual and his followers that are...
With his chin suspensor.
Yeah, it's padded.
I'd also there's more of like Stilgar here where she's like, what is this guy's ancestry? Where comes such a breeding? And she's like, I underestimated you guys. Such was my suspicion. She's like, each of us apparently underestimated the other. And he's like, I should like an end to this. And he's like, yeah.
He was literally like, where do they make the men like this?
Yeah.
I should like friendship with you.
From whence do they came?
I should like that respect for each other, which grows in the breast without demand for the huddling of sex.
Yeah, this is the budding of a beautiful, respectful, communicative relationship that I think we can all aspire to in our lives.
I hear your sincerity. And I'm just like, he's saying, hey, I'll be your friend, but I totally would like...
He's like, I would, though.
I would knock boots with you.
Just to make it clear.
I would not still
friends with benefits?
He's like, the sage comes first, but I would, though.
Girl, I'll house you. And then she's like, let's speak about your Reverend Mother. Like, let's get off the subject.
Yeah, so anyway, about your spiritual guide.
Yeah. But I'm gonna find out where you're from, boy.
Yeah. Who's your father?
Yeah.
Address?
Are you from a renegade house?
Social security number?
I'm gonna whatever the 1965 version of Google is.
I was gonna say she's got like a beeper in her like Gemini, and she's like contacting like the Bene Gesserit home base. She's like, chapter house. I need all the intel on one Stilgar of the Fremen.
Is this his house name or like what we got here?
Who is his daddy?
I got some breeding potential here.
I
have
questions. I need answers.
I need you to put him into the breeding Rolodex.
Who made this man?
I wonder if they do have that, like a breeding Rolodex. Like, all right, we need something, but
they
like
have more than one. That's their number one product is humans. They breed humans. Their breeding program is running the universe. That's their bread and butter. They know where Stilgar came
their
from.
secondary thing is furniture.
Yeah, yeah, come on.
It's not spice that controls the universe. It's furniture and the breeding program.
I really hope Brian Herbert like somehow gets hold of this and be like, hey, listen, assholes. Yes, my dad liked furniture, but you fuckers need to stop.
Okay, before we end this stream, because I know we're getting to our ending point, let's make our prediction for what the star office furniture is going to be for our next stream. I'm going to say...
I feel like wall decorations. We are not there yet.
Wall
Shelving.
Decor? Shelving?
Or would that be filing cabinets? Like, where are we at with that? Like,
shelving is different than filing cabinets.
I feel like we're at shelving then.
I feel like we've reached the shelving.
Shelving or wall decor.
Okay, I'm going to go full, like, bad water discipline and say a bidet.
Okay. A risky choice.
Is that office furniture?
Well, I guess it's not office furniture.
I'm going to go
of the whole home.
For the comfortable choice, and I'm going to say rugs.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So like
we have shelving, a bidet, a specific one from Jen, and rugs from me.
During the dinner party, they talked about the fucking lighting, like non-fucking stop.
Did they? Oh my God, the dinner party might have been the closest we got to a bidet because of the water fountain. She may be right. We've all read this book multiple times, and we're just forgetting the bidet that plays a pivotal role.
Do you think that because we all went to therapy, we're noticing things more?
I must say, I don't think that this office furniture tangent that we've gotten ourselves on has anything to do with our mental health.
No, with the daddy issues and everything else. Like,
No relation.
because my first couple of reads before therapy, I glossed over the daddy issues like completely. I was just like, whatever will be. I wonder what I gotta have Cidnya make like a small video on Instagram Live and just be like her thoughts on these chapters, just as like.
Yeah, I really wish we could get her input.
What if
I need to know what her furniture choice is.
Yeah, we need to know.
What if she watches these videos and she does like a mystery science theater type commentary
Oh my God,
on
she
us?
riffs on us?
Yes.
Well, she was like, I'm glad you guys recognize my brand of himbos.
So, shout out to Cidnya, because she sent me some of the favorite messages I've ever received on Instagram. She was like, so I heard you were thinking about watching JoJo.
I told her, I was like, we talked about himbos. I think you got her wanting to watch JoJo.
She's like, I heard you were into himbos.
She was so happy.
Yeah,
like,
now I'm going to watch JoJo.
She's like, I'm so happy I have a brand now. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
Oh, and a good brand it is.
And she also was like, hey, I'm moving 2 hours away. Guess who's going to fucking show up at your house? I was like, okay. She's like, oh, and definitely like when Sid's there, I'm coming down. We're going to have drinks and we're going to be best friends.
North. She needs to learn.
Huh? No. She said when you get down here.
No, but you're up. I'm south. You're north.
No, you're in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
But well, east mostly.
Southwest.
Or no, I'm east, I said.
Northeast.
Well, anyway, it's 2 hours away, but she said when you move here, she's like, I'm gonna be over there, we're gonna have drinks, we're gonna have fun, and her and I are gonna be best friends. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Maybe I should save JoJo for then.
Possibly. I don't know. Like, I was just like, she's like, 2 hours is a blip. I was like, is it? I remember that being like it's a long drive though. Like literally there's like a whole half hour of nothing.
If you're used to like, I feel like Florida traffic and you're used to like, I don't know where she's from, because I used to live there, like the traffic is horrible. Like just, I don't know, going
Cape
down.
Coral.
Yeah, Cape Coral and like the Fort Myers area, traffic on 41 is a nightmare. So
Florida is extremely long.
Yeah.
And you do get quite used to the trip. Like
we have a friend who lives in Texas, and like Texas is like just the size of Europe.
Yeah. 12 hours to go from El Paso to, I forget the other place, but like it literally took me an entire day of driving to go through Texas.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's
Never again.
Big.
I kind of broke Gambit's brain yesterday. He's like, yeah, I'm excited about Sid. I'm like, yeah, she's probably going to be staying with me. He goes, I did not know that. I was like, yeah. He goes, oh, cool. I know where you live. I was like, thank you. That's your one moment.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple people, Gambit and Andrew, and I'm sure you remember Danny from the shop.
Like Dan?
No, Danny Danielle, the other counter girl.
Oh, Danielle, yes.
Yeah, just like before.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Danny, my daughter.
Oh,
my precious child has never done anything wrong in her whole life. Yeah, I'm really excited to see people.
Yeah, well, again, I'm excited to see you, and I might be back on day shifts.
Okay, cool.
Apparently, if I get this position, because I applied for a supervisor position, because I'm psychotic.
No, that's good. Forward motion.
Something like that. I'm sure there's some people in the store who aren't going to be happy about it. But
forward motion in this house.
Fuck them.
Fuck people in the store that don't appreciate you and your success. Fuck them is what I say.
So, going back onto topic, because that's funny. You said you were only going to be on for an hour.
Well, it's good to speak to friends. My computer is giving me the danger light, so it's like.
Okay, so how far are we reading?
If we could do about the same number of pages we did this time, that was kind of perfect for me and my schedule. If
Okay.
that works for you guys, I think we did 60 pages approx.
Would that be end at 5? All that?
You guys got to do the legwork because I have an ebook. Sorry.
I see 520.
I have a note from my mom. I can't check the page numbers.
I would say if we do 60 pages, then that would be ending at 520.
Okay, and that's the end of the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the end of the book? Like
no,
the second book?
No. I mean, it's the end of that chapter, but not the end of the book.
How many chapters is it? Because my page numbers are different.
I don't feel like it's that many.
No, it's not.
Oh, good.
Like
one of them's meaty. It's 2 chapters.
Two chapters. All right.
Like,
get into it.
I feel like that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, these are all fucking meaty chapters.
I think these are gonna be good fucking chapters.
Yeah.
So the third chapter ends at 550.
And that would be like 80, almost 80 pages.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 chapters.
3 chapters.
60. Okay, so we'll go to, which would be, for me, it's 550. So for Cidnya and I.
Here's what the next chapter starts as, where we're ending, is Muad'Dib tells us in A Time of Reflection. Stilgar's preface to Muad'Dib the Man by Irulan, Princess Irulan.
A cameo by Stilgar.
Yes.
Okay, cool. 3 chapters.
I'm wondering if I'm ever going to get tired of Irulan.
I am wondering the same thing, pal.
I love Irulan.
Irulan and sex months. That's my, I guess, my jam.
Hey, I mean, Dune, something for everyone.
Although the fish speakers, I think, are more hoish than the Honored Maîtres.
That is like a scale that we don't have time to touch on right now.
No, because your computer's about to die. So
yeah.
Thank you, everybody that tuned in or watching this on the replay. I appreciate you joining us. I know the show is not for everyone, and honestly, we have fun doing it, so fuck the views.
I enjoyed just coming and hanging out and talking about Dune.
Yes,
yeah,
and
good time.
Cidnya, we miss you. I hope your move goes smooth and your job hunting. Also, please make a video just giving your thoughts on these chapters that you've missed with us, because we need to hear them. We need your himbo takes.
Yeah, even if you just do like a 60-second, Cidnya's highlights. I'd love it.
100%.
Yeah.
And again, we miss you because you see stuff we don't. And give us your hot furniture takes.
Yeah, I want furniture predictions.
I can't wait to see who wins the furniture prediction.
I feel like wall decor probably would have won.
I don't know. I think rugs are going to take it.
What's the rug going to be made of?
Spice? I don't fucking know. I'm not a Fremen.
Well, worm skin. Is it going to be at the Emperor's Palace? We're going to go way the fuck into some
They have textiles. They make cloaks.
That's going to be the thing. It's going to be fucking way into textiles or faux leather. There's going to be a couch there that he's going to be yes, you think it's leather, but it's actually not leather, but it's not leather either. It's new.
Do they not legitimately have beanbag chairs in the Sage? Because I have a distinct memory of being beanbag chair sounds comfy.
Sandbag chair.
Of course, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Sand trout skin.
Excuse me. Okay, I gotta go, guys.
Okay, everybody, thank you, and join us next week. Bye.
Tune in next week.
Bye.